We're back. We're back with video episode 4 here. Gates, welcome back. Episode 3 with the young Mr. Jim Fowler went very well. I heard lots of positive feedback. Tonight we have another guest. Christopher Wall is going to be joining us out of the St. John Association. But before we get to Chris, we got to talk about last week's video. Al, what kind of feedback did you hear on the 7-man positioning video with Mr. Fowler?
With the umpire stuff? Well, it's kind of funny because last week we had the elder statesman here. Now we have the young pup with us tonight. So I think we're diverse.
Yes.
Very diverse.
Diverse.
And yeah, just a couple of points that came out from last week. Number one, in case there's any confusion, the whole purpose behind these videos is never to criticize or find fault with the guys working the game, guys or girls working the game. But it's hopefully to create an understanding of where we should be and what we should be doing on each play.
Right.
And make sure that we do better than we have. Anyhow, from notes from episode 3, Jim talked about when we are responsible for a player, that it's important that we stay with that player longer, especially if they are threatened and that person happens to be the ball carrier, a receiver, or a blocker. If I'm responsible for them and there's a threat to them, I've got to hang with them longer as long as that threat is there. I believe it was Christian Strickland said this one time at one of our post games, that anytime there's players at any place on the field, they deserve to be officiated. Players should never be left unattended. Okay, when we leave players unattended, problems could occur. Also, Jim alluded to the fact about passes downfield and that the referee shouldn't know what happens downfield. And it's not just the referee. Not all officials should know what happens on every play until it's done. So we should never have an official on one side of the field blowing a whistle when the play's gone dead on the opposite side of the field. Supervisors, evaluators, whatever you want to call them, can tell really quickly where you're looking on the field because we all wear hats. Right. And they can pick up very quickly by where your brim is. But if you're looking at spots you shouldn't be, don't do it.
Can I ask a question, Gates?
Certainly. Yeah.
Should a line judge ever give the signal for a field goal?
Well, Ray, there are situations that the line judge might.
When he's on the line of scrimmage?
When he's on the line of scrimmage, there are a few situations where that may occur. So if you happen to officiate in St. John and we have a very low fog comes in, then sometimes it's needed to have him relay it. That's a rarity. Right. Normal situations, it's pretty rare that the line judge on the line of scrimmage needs to signal a field goal.
Okay.
Last but not least, second last thing, don't ball hawk. Okay. If we're ball hawking, we know where the ball is, and that's not a good thing. We're leaving players unattended. And ultimately, the more officials we have on the field, we should be providing better coverage on the field. If we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, we're in the correct position, and we're covering our areas of responsibility. So endeth the saying.
There you go. Al, I couldn't have said any better. And listen, same thing with the videos. We talked years ago. Our only training material that we had years ago were the charts. That's all we had. And frankly, I found it boring trying to go through the charts every week, going through it. Look, we're still going to use the charts. We're going to be using them tonight. But when you can take video and, use the video to go along with the charts, it helps make those, it helps you understand what those charts are there for and how to use them better. So again, all the video that we're showing in these videos, it's not to treat, to pick on an official or anything like that. We're just trying to get better, right?
I have some of those video that if we wanted to point fingers at people, Ray, you and I would show up a lot.
I would be there. I was trying to set you up for that overtime game at Mount A when I was on the sideline. Now, I didn't actually do this, but I was watching I was ball hawking, no question. No question. But it was an exciting kick. It was to win the game in overtime.
I wasn't there for that game.
No?
Okay. No, I was coming from a high school championship.
There you go. All right, let's welcome in our guest, Chris Wall. I mean, what can I say about Chris Wall? I mean,
I've heard a lot of it.
This guy is a major New England Patriots fan. I mean, one of the great things about being an AUS officials is the length of the trips that we have back, to X and Acadia and stuff like that. The amount of jabbing going back and forth over the years between the Bills and the Patriots, it's been pretty tough conversations for me over the past few years because you guys have had Tom Brady, right?
Yep, it's true. And this year, thankfully, COVID stopped all of that problem from happening.
I know, but I have to tell you now, I want your opinion on this, Chris, because I have to tell you, out of all Brady's Super Bowl wins, this personally was my favorite. I really enjoyed this win by Tom Brady. How about yourself?
I did enjoy it very much. Listen, he gave us 6 titles. Yep. You can never turn your back on that, right?
Did it hurt a little bit when you watched them hoist the Lombardi up in the air?
No, I'm not a fan of how everyone.
It didn't hurt just a little bit. There had to be just a little bit of hurt, like a little pinch of him lifting it up as a Buccaneer.
It did. Yeah, I won't lie. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's what he's doing is pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
At that age, to be able to continue to do that, I mean, hopefully you might be able to experience it someday.
Listen, one thing I have experienced with Tom Brady in the past is the whole boat incident, right? Like I know what Tom Brady was living in that moment, right?
That looked like a lot of fun, yeah.
Like you've never seen Tom Brady in that light before, and
hold on, I can't say that. I did go Facebook Live, and after they beat the Falcons, I did go Facebook Live, and I do remember you wishing for more snow and more sleet and more hail and on the streets of Boston. So that was a fun one.
There you go. All right. So you guys think that Chris Wall was joining us to talk about football tonight, but what we're really going to be talking about tonight is I want to know the keys to losing your window privileges in your truck. And also the keys to winning back your window privileges, because that's the bucket that I'm really working on. Is I need to learn how to get your window privileges back when traveling with you.
Yeah, so you don't get the window privileges back, and you lose them very quickly on the streets of Halifax. And we'll just leave it at that.
All right, we'll leave it at that. But it's window privileges is always a big conversation when Dunn and Wall are in the same vehicle together.
Yeah, and we seem to get paired up quite often.
There you go. All right, so tonight's episode really is about the sideline and deep side position and the relationship between the officials that are on the field. And I mean this sincerely. I've had the pleasure of working the sideline with Chris really for the last 3 years, pretty straight. We've worked a lot of games together over the last 3 years on the side. And it's gotten to the point that I never have to worry about Chris on the field. I know exactly what he's doing. I know what you're going to do before the play even gets started. And it's made it really easy working with you. And now we got to take what we do on the field and pass it on to other officials so that they can find that same level of comfort. So that's what we're going to be talking about in tonight's charts and videos.
Sounds good.
Anything you want to add here, Gates, before we start bringing slides up?
No, I think we're good to go.
All right, let's start with our PowerPoint slides. We're going to go through some different charts here. So I'm going to share my screen here once again. And the first slide we're going to bring up here tonight is the 6-person crew in short yardage. So in this slide, Al, you put it together. Why don't you tell us what's going on in this slide?
So anytime we're talking about a short yardage, we're talking third down and 2 or less to go. And one of the things that we're going to talk about tonight is short yardage and goal line. And as officials, we always need to know what is the most important line in play at this time. So in this situation, the most important line in play is going to be the first down line. And so we have to officiate that line very well. So one of the things that's going to happen is with the 6 guys is there's going to be some shifting between the umpire and the back umpire, but guys are going to use the team formations to creep in as much as they can safely. Now the down judge and the line judge are going to come off the sideline a bit, but again, only as far as the alignments will allow them. It should never really come in beyond the numbers in this play situation, this type of play situation. Normal play, keep your backsides on the sideline. I mentioned about the umpire and back umpire because the most important line is 2 yards from the line of scrimmage. The umpire is going to slide up on the wide side of the field and line himself up just behind and outside the widest defensive player. And the back umpire will come up and almost line himself up at the depth that the umpire was originally at, maybe a little bit shallower, on the opposite side of the field. The back judge will slide into the center of the field and basically become the field judge in this situation, or center field official. The referee goes to the narrow side because of the movement of the umpire, and he's going to slide himself out so he's somewhere outside the tackle, maybe even behind the end, and has a good look in to see the ball and where it's being snapped, so nothing untoward happens on the line of scrimmage before the ball can be snapped.
And in this picture, Al, I mean, on each play, the down judge and the line judge are signaling free and held. Which official's going to be free on this particular play?
The free official in this play is going to be the down judge. Okay, the wide side official is going to be free.
Okay.
The line judge is going to be the hold official, and it'll be more noticeable when we show another slide here in a second why that's going to be true.
Okay.
Keep in mind that on short yardage and goal line, the free sideline official is not going to go very far.
Right.
Okay? He's going to break about a yard or two because that's the most important line. The line judge or the held official is going to hold tight for a bit.
Now, Chris, if you're the line judge official on this play,
Yep.
What are some things you're thinking about, or what actions are you taking prior to the snap of this play?
So prior to the snap, I've done my count and I've made sure that we have everyone that we're supposed to have. I've signaled to my counterpart, which would be the down judge at this point. I've also talked to the back umpire briefly as to if something breaks out for a pass, he's got to cover that area, and I'm being held completely. As soon as I set up, I'm trying to sneak in. I know Al said the numbers is too far, and I agree, but I'm definitely off the sideline because I have the best look of the line of scrimmage, and then I'm going to have the best look of the yard that they need to gain or 2 yards. So I'm only taking maybe one step to my left or to my right, what in this case it would be to my left, and then I'm essentially coming crashing down to look in with the umpire.
Right. Helping him with the spot, trying to find the spot where the ball.
Chances are, because it's safer for me as the line of scrimmage official, I'm probably trying to take the spot because I'm not going to get tangled up like the umpire. The umpire is going to be at risk at getting his feet tangled up, might not come in as far. I've got that straight down the line look.
And when you're taking your spot, Chris, where's the best spot on a short yardage play like this? Where's the best spot to be taking that spot? I see a lot of officials take it out near the sideline, some take it around the numbers. Where do you want to be taking that spot on a short yardage play like this?
Right on top of the ball.
Yeah, so I learned, I guess, early on in my career after a few mistakes in the AUS to honestly just come crashing in.
Yeah.
And I essentially take the ball from the ball carrier and I put it down where I'm spotting it, and that's my spot. And then I leave it for the umpire, and then I back out to the sideline. Because once I've taken the ball, so even in a 5 or 4 or 7 man crew, once I get my spot, I'm coming in, I'm moving guys out of the way, I'm grabbing the ball from the ball carrier, I'm putting it down, that's my spot. It's not moving. The umpire will take up and I'll leave.
Yeah, that's great advice. Great advice. Get in as quick as you can. I mean, safely.
Yeah, big time.
But get in and get that spot right away. Because the quicker you get that spot down, it's tough for a coach to argue about where you've put the ball on the field, where the plays come to an end, right? So,
inside that area, there shouldn't be a coach there anyway.
Right.
So if you come in flying in and they see, stripes coming in as fast as they possibly can, you're not going to be able to argue it.
Yeah.
Right. You have to sell that spot, whether they agree with you or not. And you're probably going to get an earful on the sideline if it goes against them for a first down, or if they are short and it's a turnover, you're still going to get an earful.
Yeah.
But if you sell it, you'd say, Coach, no, I have him down at that spot. Where that ball is where the furthest point it got.
Yeah. Good. Al, anything you want to add there?
Yeah, just one thing, and I keep wanting to point up my screen here and move bodies. The umpire has lined up just behind the widest defensive player on the opposite side to that hold official. And he's there for a reason. He's there so that when the play goes, he can step into the gap that would be our neutral zone and then rule from the opposite side of the field from where Chris is coming in from. The one thing we can't do is we cannot have the umpire or the back umpire lining up in that neutral zone. So you can't take the umpire and bring him up right on the 25-yard line there with his back to the down judge for a couple of reasons. Number one, he's now taken an official right out of the play by blocking him. And number two, he's now a target to possibly get run over. So he's got to sit on that defensive player's hip. When the ball's been snapped and play goes, he just sort of angles himself so he gets a look towards, in this case, the line judge who's coming the opposite direction. And you have the play boxed in. And you'll hear us talk about that terminology a lot, keeping the play boxed in so that you have looks from many sides to see where the ball's gone dead.
It's funny you say that, Al, because I find when I'm watching a short yardage 6-man crew, this back umpire position sometimes rushes to the line of scrimmage to get a view downfield, and he's blocking out this line of scrimmage official coming in. So you're saying this back umpire should hold off, stick with this linebacker here, and get the view from outside in from this angle so that the line judge can see it along the line.
He really becomes the umpire,
right,
on this play situation, and he's prepping for passes in that little, as we talked last week with Jim, that little soft zone in the 7-man coverage.
Right.
But because the umpire's gone up, and the umpire now is becoming focused on where's the ball going dead, that back umpire can pick up a little pass right over the center.
Right.
Back umpire, yes.
Yeah. And if everybody holds their position, just like this chart, Al, there's really not a lot of soft spots, because if there is a pass up in this angle, you got the line judge and the back judge viewing here. And same thing, if the play comes out to the wide side here, you've got the downs judge and the back judge here as well, again, to cover that. So really, we do have the field covered very well in this formation.
The alignment of officials on the field is meant to give the best possible coverage in normal situations, the way the officials line up on the field.
Okay. That is your 6-person crew short yardage. Let's go to our next slide. And this is our 6 crew on the third line chart. Do you want to talk about this one, Al?
So if the short yardage and goal line are very similar in their initial setup. Again, the umpire is going to go to the wide side. In this case, he's going to go line up not much deeper than 2 yards off the ball, which might put him slightly into the end zone. You'll see a lot of umpires when they take this position for this type of play will actually hug the goalpost and use it for protection. The referee, again, just like in the short yardage, will swing out to the side so he has a look in towards the ball to make sure it's being snapped. The outside deep and the inside deep, or the back umpire, back judge, has shifted some. the inside deep official, who is now right in the center of the deepest part of the field, is responsible for the dead ball line. Okay, so he's watching for passes. He or she is watching for passes. The outside deep official will line up about halfway into the end zone, out on the sideline, the same side as the held official. So as we talked about before, you can see now why the line judge is the hold official.
Right.
He's got somebody on the sideline. And I know Chris will, and you will talk about this in a second. So now again, similar to what we had in the short yardage, we hopefully, if everybody's in the right spot and reacting as they should, we should have the field well covered.
And okay, so I want to ask a couple things for consistency, okay?
Yeah.
Number one is, let's talk about the communication between the deep official and the line judge on the same sideline. So Chris, you and I have talked numerous times working the sideline together, and it's usually around the 7-yard line. I'm giving up the goal line and I'm moving into the end zone like you see in this slide. And I have zero responsibility for the ball crossing the goal line. You've got that coverage there, right?
Correct.
Al, the other inconsistent, or the other discussion I want to have for consistency purposes is, when should the white hat be decided? And actually, this isn't even the white hat's call, but when should we be making the decision to go to short yardage here?
Okay, that, if we went back to the previous slide and we saw the back umpire, the back umpire makes the call on when they're going short yardage or goal line, and he's got to make it early. If it's goal line, it's easy because you're almost at the goal line. If it's short yardage on the field, sometimes you've got to be more cognizant of what's going on. So the back umpire will make the call early so everybody can get themselves in position. Now it's on the referee, excuse me, to make sure that everybody's in that position. So you will see a video clip coming up in a little while of an AFL game where the referee has really not given enough time for the crew to get where they should be. So this is a critique of that referee. And I'm allowed to do that because I'm the referee. So, and I just didn't give the guys time, and you can see guys moving to positions as the ball's being snapped, which is not a good situation. Okay. But you've got to take your time, let everybody get set, but it's the back umpire that's going to call goal line or short yardage.
Okay. All right, let's go to, because this is an important one here. So now we're going to go 6-man. This is on the 11-yard line. Okay. So again, as the deep official on the sideline now, I would be right at the goal line. I'm going to position myself on the goal line, and I'm basically going to hold the goal line depending on what takes place on this play. The M official should be the line judge official. That official will be held here, and the H official would be your down judge. It would be free. Go ahead, Al, and talk about anything else you want to talk about with this.
Hey, again, this is a situation that that really the back umpire is not going to call because we're coming off of a normal scrimmage situation. So we do have an important line coming up. It's going to be the goal line. And we have an official who's going to place themselves right on the goal line and is going to stay there unless they're pushed off the line. So in this case, it's the outside deep guy is going to be right on the goal line, straddling it. So if it's a run play, he stays put until the ball either crosses the goal line or it goes dead short of the goal line. The inside deep guy, similar to the last video, is responsible for the dead ball line. He's responsible for passes that may come over, watching for pick plays and so on. So this is a situation you may have a quarterback take a quick snap and throw to a guy that's streaking, like the split end there, streaking up the field. So the inside deep official has him. The line judge, as you said, is the held official and doesn't need to move because he's got somebody on his goal line. Now, when I say that, he will move, but he will only move when the ball has crossed the line of scrimmage.
Right. Now I'm going to jump over to Chris. So Chris, this is a lot of first timers in a 6-man system or new to the 6-man system, they do struggle with this aspect of officiating in a 6-man crew. Walk us through the line judge. If we have a running play coming out to the line judge side of the field, talk about what this line judge does as he's heading down towards the goal line with the ball carrier.
So in 6 and 7-man, you have to talk pregame about stuff like this, and you have to have the conversation as the plays or as the two teams are huddling and figuring out what they're doing. You have to have this conversation, whether it be like, I know you and I, Ray, say like, my goal line, I stay, your goal line. Like, it's a constant communication. It's not tipping anyone off. It's not a hidden secret. The players don't care what you and I are talking about, but it has to happen, because there's been times where officials will run down the field and all of a sudden the held official, so the back judge, he's standing on the side on the goal line and he's about to get run over. You take that ball until it goes dead, but I typically come to a screeching halt around the 3 or 2 yard line,
right?
Because anything after that, we're both there, but then I'm giving you the being the back judge of the ball. If it goes dead anywhere between the 11 and the 2, that's something that as a line of scrimmage official, you have to take.
Yeah.
Provided you're there. You may have got hung up with something at your feet. Hopefully your partner on that side, the back judge, is able to come up and give you a hand in case you do get hung up somewhere. And it's a hustle play, right? Because it's everything that we have to do is a hustle play. We need to get down there because down and distance matter, and every inch matters. The coaches preach it all the time on the sideline. Every inch matters, and we have to be on top of this at every inch to make sure that we're getting the proper spots.
Yeah, great. Now let's talk about this. So if the ball's coming out to our sideline, these two officials right now are off the sideline a little bit. If the ball's coming out past the numbers, where should these officials be on the field?
To start, they should never have been there.
Right.
That's just because of the cut and paste.
Yeah, no,
It
that's
should be
fine.
right on the sideline.
So and to be honest, that's where the sticks are realistically, because unless we have split, I'd have my sticks on the outside of that black border, and my feet would be firmly planted on the outside of that white line, giving myself space. And we have to remember, where's the down and distance? If it's the 11 yard line, is it first and 10? So now the 1 yard line's important. We have to constantly, like, as a line of scrimmage, I have to tell my stick crew, like, that has to be down. If that ball comes anywhere near the numbers, drop them and get out of the way. As I would start to back out if it's coming directly at me, and you and I would box them in. Yeah.
And what I would be doing if I was this, I would be basically hovering over the cone on this goal line here. So I would be communicating with you prior to the play. Chris, you have the first down line. So I'd want you to cover. I'm not going to go upfield to cover the 1. I'm going to take the goal line and deep. I'm not coming into the field of play. So that's something you and I would be talking about pre-play for sure, is you've got first down, I got the goal line.
Correct.
Right?
And that should be done pre-game inspection while we're walking the field. Right? So 9 times, or I guess, no, all the times, you and I would walk together in a 6-man crew, and the H and the inside down guys, so the back umpire, those guys should walk the field together. Because if this were to flip, the back umpire goes to the opposite side on the goal line. And now those two become partners. So they have to have a relationship too. We have to always communicate, because it's the worst. It's our biggest failure as a crew, is not being prepared, not communicating.
Great point.
Keep in mind one thing too. Chris is talking about pre-games and walk-arounds and so on, and how vitally important they are. Sometimes we don't have a lot of time to do that, depending on what level of football we're working. But as experienced officials, we want to make sure that the guys that we're working with, guys or gals that we're working with, know what we're going to do in these situations.
Right.
So you've got to take the time to talk about it before the game starts. And then, like you and Chris have been mentioning, when the play, prior to the play going, you guys are talking about, I've got goal line, and whatnot. You're communicating on every play.
We're reminding each other of downs, distance, what to keep an eye out for. It's just, the more you talk in the game, the more you stay in the game. So
Yeah.
I can't encourage that enough. And Chris, you and I do a great job of that when we're on the field together. While we're talking about the pregame stuff, from a sideline position, if we're on the stick side of the field, what kind of conversations are you having with the stick crew before a game?
Put your cell phones away. This doesn't need to go on Snapchat or Instagram, or as my good friend Bill Belichick says, Snap, Face, Insta, whatever, Twitter. So you have to have an honest conversation, and honestly, from Pee Wee and Adam all the way up to AUS, you have to have those conversations. You can never assume. The famous line is, "Oh, I've done it before."
Yeah.
Okay, great, but I don't know who your last person was in charge, like who the last down judge was. So I have no idea how they went over it. I don't know when they want their sticks brought down. It's all about communication. It's a lot of, again, pre-game, you're checking your sticks, making sure that the chains are in proper position, your downs box is able to move, flip, make sure we have all the proper numbers. And then it's not a stern conversation, but it's a preventative maintenance one. You have to have their undivided attention, and it has to happen for the entire game, because I don't need to break a leg because I don't know the sticks were dropped. And the players who are running full tilt, they don't need to be hurting themselves either. And the stick crew.
Yeah.
Right. Some of them are kids, some of them are adults. We can't have people go down because they're not paying attention.
Exactly. I started using a particular word in my years of working AUS stick crew or even high school, and that's expectations. I used to lay the expectations of what I wanted from my stick crew during the game, and I just found, you use the word stern. It's that confident, lay your expectations, tell them exactly what you want for the next 60 minutes or the length of the ball game. And you're bound to get a better reaction versus asking.
Yeah, it's the best seat in the house.
Right.
Right. And I tell them that. I tell them right from the beginning, listen, you three have the best seat in the house. Yeah, unfortunately, I might be standing in front of you for a couple of the plays, but at the end of the day, you're going to have a good look at the game. You'll get to see my number for a majority of the game, but that's all right. There's nothing wrong with 87.
There you go.
I've heard.
All right. Is there anything else we need to touch on as far as the slides go?
One thing, Ray, that I just jotted down when you guys were talking a little while ago is that, there's sometimes when we're going through this, we may toss a piece of information out that might sound odd, or for all intents and purposes, it might be wrong. We don't do that intentionally. We might do it as an oversight. So those who watch, if there's something that seems odd, please ask.
Yeah.
Or if there's something that you want to know why it's done this way, please ask. And as I say, sometimes we may miss something as we go through this stuff, right? You might say somebody's responsible for this, and you're not saying it to be wrong. You're saying it because you just screwed up at that time. So
this is about learning, right?
Exactly.
And Al, today we've got me, Gates, and Chris on this video, but when we post this on the Facebook page or we send it out in emails, Andy Atkins was great last week. He sent an email with his 2 cents, right? Tell us how you guys handle these situations. Tell us how you guys have that conversation with the stick crew, and I'm sure we can pick up on something in the way you do things. So the biggest thing is consistency. We should all be doing a pretty similar job on the field, and that's what we're trying to get to here, right?
Exactly.
All right, so let's move on from these screens. I'm now going to share another screen here.
Okay, so in this situation, and whether it's goal line or short yardage with 5, we've taken an official off the field. Our back judge is gone. In this case, it's going to be 2nd down and 2. We're trying to get to the yellow line. The offense is trying to get to the yellow line. The 2 side officials, line of scrimmage officials, as we talked about in 6-man, are going to try and slide in as far as they can safely. The back umpire is going to creep up. And the umpire, again, has slid out to behind the widest, deepest defensive player. And the referee has swung to the narrow side of the field. So now everything should be boxed in. So does it look similar to the 6-man? Most certainly it does. We've taken that 6th official out. The 6th official in this clip would actually have the deep outside guy lining up on about the 25-yard line, and the back umpire would be slid into the center. So really very little's changed.
The other way.
But we don't have that guy. Pardon me?
Your back umpire is coming up. You had just worded it different. Yeah, the back judge in 6-man would be like the 23 to 20-yard line.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So, and
Okay, so little difference.
the goal line is very similar. Do you want me to bring that one up as well?
No, it's the exact same. It's the exact same. The referee and umpire
formation.
just switch sides. Yes.
Perfect. All right. So let's stop sharing that now.
Glad you could find it, right?
Hey, I've got it. I just got to find it. All right. Let's go to video number 1 now. All right. So here.
There we go.
Okay. You got it?
Take it right back to the start, though.
Right back to the start. All right. So here we are pre-snap. Al, just tell us what we're looking at right now in this video.
Okay, so we have a 5-man crew.
Okay.
Okay, so the referee, as we talked about earlier on, has taken a few steps up. He is on the wide side of the narrow side of the field. The umpire, who has stepped up, and you can see him, it appears like he's leaning against the goalpost, but he's using it for protection. He has slid in, and he's basically right on the goal line with this type of goalpost. The line judge, who is the official on the far sideline, has the line of scrimmage. And because of the formation of the offense, he is on the sideline.
Right.
Our back umpire in this video, you can see right there, has come up some and is refereeing the end zone area. And then our head linesmen, I don't know if they're in this video yet. No. They are on the sideline, on the line of scrimmage, and they would be the basically because
it's technically I believe it's me in the video, and I believe at that point I would be the crashing in free official.
Free official, yeah. Okay, so if you want to roll, and we can't go slow, but just roll this through, right?
I can drag it across.
Well, let's let it run through, and then we can do that.
Okay.
Let it run. Yeah. Okay. So if you want to take it back about there, yes. Okay. So the ball is about to be snapped. You will see the head linesman on this side, which is Chris. When the ball is snapped, he's going to step right to the goal line. And you'll notice the umpire will turn to see where the ball went. This ends up being a passing play that is going to be completed right in front of the back umpire. I'm not sure, but I believe the line judge on the far side also steps to the goal line, but I might be wrong in this. That's not wrong, especially once the ball has crossed the line of scrimmage.
And you got to think with these soccer nets, the umpire potentially is going to get blocked out completely seeing where the ball crosses, because you're going to have to look through a second goalpost.
Yeah. So Chris, let's just even pre-snap here. Can you walk us through kind of what is going on in your world on the field pre-snap? What are some things you're looking for? What are some alerts of this play that you're kind of keeping an eye out for?
So just to, I guess, back up even pre-snap, the play before Not sure what it was, but we got down to this spot. I don't know if it's first, second, or third down, but if you noticed, I don't have the sticks there.
Right.
So let's get one obstacle out of the way. Let's get rid of the sticks. Tell them to go back. We can keep the downs box so we know what down it is. But as we know, we can't get first down again. So we don't need those sticks in the way.
Right.
Have them go back to where the next ensuing kickoff's going to be, get them set up, speeds the game up. I don't know if this is a pass, a run, a fake, a bobbled snap. I have no idea what it is. But as you can see, these two players, receiver and DB, they've got me pushed out pretty far. I wouldn't want to go in any further because, again, if this is a run and it's coming to the pylon, if I'm in, I'm going to maybe lose focus where I was. So I'm looking at the umpire and I'm looking at everything. I've checked off with everyone I need to. And from this point forward, I'm just going to read and react to the play.
Okay. All right. So let's.
Before you finish, go any further. One of the things you'll note that when the referee blows time in on this play, all the other 4 officials are in their positions before time's blown in.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's go forward in this play a little bit here. Let's stop right about here. All right. So when we're looking at the coverage here so far, I mean, everything looks good. Chris, you're down at the goal line marker right now, which is great. It looks like the line judge is making his move to the goal line. Umpire is right up against that stick. I mean, he's got a perfect view from the umpire position. Al, you are obviously watching the quarterback here, and our deep officials right there to cover the pass on this play as well. So we've got it covered very well. Okay, so now we have a catch in the end zone. Caught in the end zone. Any comments here so far? I think coverage is still looking really good. And that's it. We've got a signal on the play. Chris, let's just talk about you for a second. You talked about coming in. Is there any need at this point for you to come in off the sideline into the middle of the field a little tighter?
No, because if that's picked off and I'm in, I'm in trouble.
Exactly.
Because if that's going the other way.
Yeah.
And then it's a foot race between me, which I'm not always going to win. It's a foot race between me, the DB, the receiver. The sideline is my responsibility. The referee in that case is going to be hoofing it down there with me, and they're going to have the goal line as much as we can, and we're going to try and box that in. That's not a run play, I guess, would be the take-home point to that. If that's a dive up the middle, totally different set of circumstances.
Right.
But because that's a pass, I got to the goal line as I was supposed to, not knowing the play, and so did the line judge on the other side, and read and react. If that's a pick or tip, that goes the other way. And I'm in, say, 5 feet, 10 feet, whatever. I'm probably I'm gonna be in trouble. There's gonna be some issues. We're not gonna cover. Most players they love to hug that sideline going up the other way.
Yeah.
That's their favorite thing to do. And if anyone's refereed at Tantramar, you're well aware that whole sideline, you screw up a play on that side, the rest of your day, you might want to put earplugs in.
Can I ask a question, Chris, for you?
Yep.
Why on this play, when the play is now coming to an end, why have you not signaled touchdown?
I knew you were going to ask me that. It's not in front of me.
Perfect.
The back umpire has everything right in front of him.
Yeah.
Again, you relayed the, last couple slides ago. We relay them if absolute need be. If you got completely taken out of the picture because the quarterback was bared down on, I may just put up, not the full extent. I may just kind of give you the, in front of my chest, like, yeah, we got a touchdown.
Yeah. And the other side of the question is we talked the last couple of episodes about zones of coverage and whose zone is that player in now. And now he's between right in front of the back umpire and the umpire. So they're the guys that are signifying that it's a touchdown. For all Chris knows, that guy may have bobbled the ball. So that's the reason for my question.
Okay, good question, Al.
Carry on, Mr. Dunn.
All right, so I'm going to stop sharing again. I'm going to get rid of video 1. I'm going to go get video 2 here. Okay,
before we roll.
What are we, you want to just let it roll?
No, before we roll.
Okay.
I asked this question in the last play, and I said, did you notice how the referee, before he blew time in, made sure that all officials were in the correct location?
Right.
The official in the last game was myself. I'm the referee in this game. And I make the error of blowing time in before everybody has taken their location. So even if you look at it right now still, you can see the inside deep official is walking to his position.
Yeah.
And when it starts to roll, you'll see the outside deep official who's coming in towards the defensive line is still moving, which can create bad situations.
And even your umpire, he's not to the post yet.
Yeah, so the 3 deep guys are still moving around. This is a goal line. So we know that the most important line right now in the field is the goal line, and that's what we have to officiate. Okay, so you can roll it through if you want, Rick.
Okay, let's roll the whole video and then we'll break it down. Okay, we got a touchdown on the play. Touchdown signaled. All right, let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning here. And let's talk about what's happening here. So at the snap of the ball, I'm going to stop it right around here.
Yeah. So at this point, the outside deep guy hasn't even had a chance really to get himself set before the ball snapped. Okay. The good thing is that he's still moving and he's coming in towards the ball where it's being put in play. The inside deep guy and the umpire are both converging on the play. The referee is going to step up. The back umpire or the deep center guy can come up a little bit harder on the ball. And I didn't pick up on what the sideline guy did.
Well, you can see the line judge has now put a foot towards the goal line. So he's making his move towards the goal line right now. We can't see the down judge.
That is the down judge.
That is, yeah. Oh yeah, that is down judge. There's
Yeah.
a stick. So we can't see what the line judge is doing.
So I guess, Ray, I'll just jump in here. So I know, Al, you've kind of made the comment that we didn't allow, or the official, it does not matter who it is, the official, that white hat did not allow everyone to get into position. So that back judge, who seems to be coming in sort of in between number 30 and number 2, he's completely, due to the fact he wasn't set, we've locked out the down judge from being able to come crashing in and make that call. Really, he's not safe where he is right now. And like you said, he is moving with the play. So thankfully we did avoid any major catastrophe. But that down judge, that's their call. They need to become flying in. This is that's their time to shine as a line of scrimmage official. We come flying up that goal line with the hands held, right?
Yeah.
And you can see at this point, that deep official, he's right on the goal line at this point.
Right.
So your down judge is seeing nothing at this point.
Right. And as we went back into the slides earlier, we mentioned that the back umpire or back judge, the back umpire slides up into the former umpire's position, which is 8, like you said, creep in a little, maybe 8 to 10 yards. That's on the goal line. So due to the fact that nobody was in position, whether it just be we didn't hustle as a crew, which we need to, or the referee thought everything was good to go and blew the whistle, excited. We know who our white hats are that want to run a quick game. So we as a crew need to up our game. We need to step it up a little bit more, because if we are constantly putting the ball in play, this following play doesn't maybe potentially happen. There's a little bit of a cheap shot at the end where the guy gets cartwheeled.
Now that being said, the other official, so the line judge on the other side of the screen, we can't see, even though he is he's the furthest official away from this play. If that official comes running across the line of scrimmage, he's going to be able to help with that shot at the end of the play here.
Right. So I guess, Ray, at the beginning, the very end, where's the start of this play? So can we safely assume number 38 here is the widest guy?
Yes.
Yes.
So I would be, if I was on this end, and I very well could be, I don't remember if I was in this game, I would probably be at least at the numbers.
Yeah.
Right. Moving in at the snap of the ball.
Yeah. My setup position would be numbers. And the second I read run, I'm coming in.
Right. All right, there you go. That's video number 2. Any comments, Al, before we get out of there?
I think we covered that one pretty well.
Okay. Let's stop sharing here and let me get video 3 teed up. All right, here's video number 3.
Okay, don't start it yet. So just to give a little bit of a lead into this play. So Chris has talked about the sideline guy coming crashing in. We've talked about officials coming in as the ball's gone dead, creeping up before the play. We're not going to see the whole play here. We're primarily the end of the play. So the ball has almost partially snapped at this point, but it's important to see what the 5 officials do on this play, especially the 4 that are on the field or on the boundary side of the field, on this side of the field. Okay, so it's more about what happens at the end of the play than where we are when the play starts. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So we've got 4 guys that are there on top of the ball. The referee's crouched over getting a look in. The back umpire is sliding up to see what's going on. The line judge, in this case 48, I believe it is, or whatever number he is, has come in and taken the spot on the center line. I'll have something to say about that. And the guy on the far side of the field is starting to come in because there's players that are on his side. So he's coming in to officiate those guys. The other 4 guys have all the stuff where the ball's gone dead. The only thing I'd like to say about the official who took the spot out here, and Chris alluded to this earlier, is he can go in further to take that spot. Okay, but again, doing it safely. There's no question that he has a spot, and you can tell as soon as he comes in.
Yeah, the umpire. I'm not sure who the umpire is, but this umpire has done, in my opinion, has done a really good job of officiating on this play. But to your point, Al, if this guy comes in more to the middle, he can really assist this umpire with the spot of that ball at the end of this play.
And it comes back to optics too. There's no question he's got the spot. Like, he's turned and he's got the primary spot. He's got his feet down. They're pointing in the direction the ball's going.
Yeah.
If he comes in a bit further, and it's strictly optics, if he comes in further, it looks better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, there's nothing wrong with what he's done.
Oh.
Okay. It's just another 5 yards in, and it just looks better.
Yeah.
It also comes down to your ability to have trust in the crew, because the umpire might have him another foot forward, whereas as being out as far as we are, what happens if our umpire gets knocked over and he loses a spot? Now we're taking the ball at where it never actually went dead at.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Where's the ball dead at? It's essentially at the umpire's feet. So if we can come crashing in safely, excellent job coming right off the line, firing off the line at the snap, but just try and scoot in a little more. Like I would say maybe we're 55 in the black there.
Yeah.
Kind of like where the yellow soccer line is.
Yeah, that's what
I would say that might be then that way there, the 2 referees are able to talk to each other.
Yeah. And it's all optics. It's all optics.
Yeah.
Find the spot with your eye and come into it slowly. No, I shouldn't say slowly. See the spot with your eye, move to the spot safely, and nail it.
And you're able to talk to players as you're coming in. 10 and
Oh,
8
yeah.
here look like they're engaged a little bit. 33, 55. It gives you a chance to say, okay, guys, come in and take your spot. It gives you a chance to have communication there too with settling down anything if anything is going on.
Knock it off and go back to your huddle.
Right.
Because you know that they're chirping at each other. So it's, you know, you don't need to say anything, or maybe you are. I got the spot, because nobody else really knows except the 5 guys on the field what that line judge is doing right now.
There you go.
Nobody else knows what we're doing at that point except the 5 guys on the field.
It's important that we look like we know what we're doing.
It is important.
All right, fellas. Well, that's episode 4. That's your sideline, deep sideline. I thought that was very well done. I mean, the whole key to this video again is those sidelines, getting off the sideline, getting into the center of the field, take their spots, help the umpire out with those spots. Communication. We talk a lot about that in this video. Communication is key out there, right?
All right, I'll communicate then.
All right.
I guess just on that, Ray, and I don't mean to steal your thunder for future episodes, but we talked about it earlier. When you don't get off the line, there was a play that I was a part of, and Al was a part of it, and there was another official. We don't need to name names; it's all good. But I'll take onus on it because I just didn't come off the field, off the line quick enough, and it looked horrible. And we got absolutely roasted by coaches, by ourselves. We're our own worst critic, because when we watched that on film later, it was bad as we thought it was. And it took the air out of the whole game. It was a good game. And myself included, I take the onus for it. I should have come in harder. And from that moment forward, I feel like I get off that line of scrimmage and I come in with a purpose.
Right. You said it right, Chris. I mean, you can have a fantastic ball game. All it takes is one play.
Yeah.
One play can turn how the perception of the officials did during a football game, just like that. So we can't take plays off. We've got to be involved in the game on every play throughout the game, right?
The students, and even, you know, men's league, women's league, they all deserve the best officiating crew that we can put on the field. And that requires us to constantly be in the books, watching these videos. And I thank you guys for putting these together. Those students and the men and women that are playing the game, they practice 3, 4, 5 days a week to play. And they deserve officials that are in the book, communicating pre-game, during the game, and just constantly giving them the best effort.
Yeah.
There you go.
One of the things I picked up at a clinic that I was at when I was down in Texas is that we as officials don't get practice time. Players do, and some teams practice every night. We don't. So what we, as Chris just alluded to, we need to make sure we're up on our rules, on our positioning, on our mechanics, and offering our services for teams who are practicing preseason scrimmages and so on. Those are our practices.
Yeah.
And making use of video and wherever it happens to come from. I think, Ray, and I might be jumping the gun here, that our next episode is going to talk about 7 official positioning, short yardage, goal line, type of thing. Is that good?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. And the play that Chris mentioned, I will make sure that one is included in the ones that I send you.
Okay.
And I can send them multiple times to make sure that you get them.
I will be looking out for them, Gator. I'll be
not a problem.
Hopefully we don't have an 8-slide presentation next week, but
if we're only doing one size crew, I think we can limit it to maybe 3 slides.
There you go. There you go. Well, Chris, listen, I want to thank you for coming on and joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
When you go back and watch this, okay, I want you to specifically pay attention to the fact I didn't shut your mic off once tonight. I gave you full access on your mic. I didn't shut your camera down. I
That's
didn't do
true.
any controlling actions whatsoever. And if we get back on the road together at some point, maybe you can extend the same courtesy is all I'm asking for.
I think
Yes,
when you're on Route 1, you can let him have the
I
window all
can,
he
yeah,
wants.
yeah. He can stick his head out like a dog trying to catch the wind. That's fine. But the first game we go into Halifax, you absolutely will never get your window privileges back. I learned that mistake. It's not fool me once, shame on you or me or whatever. I learned it. Yeah.
Remember I asked earlier if people have questions and whatnot? I can see one of the first questions. What happened?
What happened?
Yeah,
What
yeah,
happened?
that's what happens on the road stays on the road.
There you go. All right, guys, that's episode 4. Thanks again. Hope you enjoy this. Leave your comments, your thoughts. Get in touch with us. Let us know what you think. And Al, we'll see you again next week.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Chris.
All right, thank you.
Okay, take care, guys.
Bye.